Awesome. I see some attendees coming in. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to get started in just a moment. Hey folks, we're just giving people a minute or two to file in before we get going. So we'll get started at 3 or 4 after the hour. Get a chat set up. All right. One more minute here and we will get started. All right. We are 3 after the hour, and since we only have 30 minutes together, let's get rolling. This webinar is being recorded, so if you need to catch up at any point after the fact, don't worry, we will share this recording with you. I'm Brooke Simmons, I'm the VP of Customer Success here at Rattle, if we haven't met yet, and I am joined by Sahil. Sahil, want to say hello?
Hey everyone, I'm Sahil, one of the co-founders and CEO.
Fantastic. So we're super excited to be doing technically our July-August monthly feature showcase. This will sum up our end of July releases, and we'll give you a preview into some of the great new functionality coming in August. So let's get off to it. First thing we wanted to highlight were some really cool updates driving new insights for sales leaders. So I'll actually show you some of our new summary emails coming, one ready to launch as early as next week. So really excited to get feedback on that. Then we'll dive into meeting intelligence enhancements. You all saw that we launched meeting intelligence just a couple months ago, and we've been iterating quickly on feedback from customers. So really excited to share some of that that's made it into the application at this point. Then we will pick up diving into mastering your sales processes with Canvas, our biggest August release coming in just 2 weeks here. So really excited to show a live demo to some customers for the first time. And then finally, our late August released managing pipeline with Digest. So hopefully we can hit all of that in the next 26 minutes. If you have any questions as we're going through this, please drop them in the chat, give feedback, react. We'll try to answer questions as we go. All right, let's drop into insights. So based on customer feedback, we have developed a brand sparkly new weekly insights email. This is an awesome summary of all your key workflow highlights, your most engaged users, your deal room insights, including revenue influenced, and even contact and event creation details. So it's a great summary email for you as a Rattle administrator or for the sales leaders in your org to understand what's going on within Rattle and to make sure that you are getting the latest and greatest information. What's extra cool is that this is very configurable. You can choose the interval that this is delivered to your inbox and to your Rattle, and you can choose the timeline as well. So this piggybacks off of our new analytics feature we just launched in last month's product showcase, and gives you a nice summary right to your inbox and your Rattle. The way that you can actually configure that is if you log into Rattle and head into your analytics tab. Starting next week, you're going to see an analytics digest option, and you can actually choose how you want to configure your analytics summary. So like I mentioned, you can choose the frequency of when this is delivering to you, your time zone, and your date range. You can also choose the mode of delivery. So this is really cool for your Rattle admins. You can configure this to send to other people within the organization, and you can choose email or Slack. So here at Rattle, we're obviously a super Slack heavy shop. I don't think I've gotten very many emails, honestly, since working here in the last few months. I only get prospecting emails from people outside of Rattle, candidly. So Slack would be my preferred communication method. So super configurable here, and you can choose exactly what you want to be highlighted in that email. So really excited to launch this next week and looking forward to getting your feedback on these insights. The other thing I will call out is everything is very clickable. So once this delivers to your inbox or Rattle, if you want to dig in further, you'll always be able to click out to full analytics. It'll direct you to the analytics tab in the app, and you'll be able to dig in further. So another way to come in here and be able to review your workflows and your deal rooms, which is great. All right. Second layer of weekly summaries coming at you for sales leaders. This is something we are really excited to start sharing as early as in the next 2 weeks, as a weekly Slack to each one of your deal rooms, highlighting week over week changes. Now, it is really hard to keep track of deals week over week. I can't tell you how many times I have gone to opportunity history, or you go to the activity history on an account or a deal, and you're trying to figure out what changed from week over week, right? Like, did we update the pipeline here? Are these the most recent next steps? What's going on? So we are going to generate automatically a report every Monday morning that'll send you in that deal room a summary of here's what changed last week in this deal. We run this for renewals here at Rattle. My team owns renewals, so this is going to be fantastic for me to actually be able to tell exactly what changed in our renewals. Are we at the right stage? So we've moved from qualification to proposal, right? Or has our probability of this renewal or this deal gone up from 10% to 75%, right? So we're going to summarize these changes for you. It should make it a lot easier to keep track of deal changes week over week and stay on the same page in deal rooms, and to collaborate, right, with folks. If there's no change week over week, that is just as an important signal as the changes that are happening. So we are starting to test this internally with our team this week. We are the guinea pig testers for all things Rattle, obviously, here. And then we'll be bringing this to customers as early as next week to start trying out in your deal rooms. All right. So really excited to share those insights with you. I am looking forward to customer feedback on that. Now, continuing the meeting intelligence trend, we've got a couple of enhancements I want to share, and I know quite a few customers are eagerly awaiting these. So as we announced in last week's feature showcase, we launched meeting intelligence about 8 weeks ago. We've onboarded a couple dozen customers to now get instant analysis and real-time notes on meetings. And as part of this, our roadmap was always to develop custom generative AI prompts so that you can actually build specific, unique prompts for your organization. And we can include those in your meeting summaries. So I'm going to show you how to do that. That's now live in the application. And we have some recommended best practices for that as well. Also, based on customer feedback, we have the ability to filter your meeting intelligence based off of user title, but also some other conditions as well. So if you only wanted meeting insights to be developed for your account executive team or your customer success team, you can now add those conditions as well. As we mentioned last month, our Gong integration live, up and running. Zoom is now in beta. So that is good news. We are ready to start bringing in beta customers as early as next week. So if you're a Zoom shop and you're excited to see meeting intelligence in action, go ahead and raise your hand, or we'll be in contact with you about that opportunity. And we are in development on our course integration. So we expect that to follow on up next. Already working on that. So let's actually show you some of these custom generative AI prompts. So the way that you can configure those is you'll want to actually go into your meetings and into your advanced settings for all of my Gong shops that are already onboarded. You'll see now there's a nice Gong call filter, brand new, available to you, where you can add conditions. So for example, participant's title, I want it to only be account executive. So I only want to do analysis on our AE calls. Quick way to add conditions. You should be super familiar with this from our workflow builder. The UI looks just the same. So you can use Gong call filters to make sure we're just analyzing the right calls, maybe not your board call or something like that, right? So easy access to conditions here. Now, if you really want to take it to the next level and use AI to generate custom prompts, you also have the opportunity to turn on custom prompting, we allow you to build 2 custom prompts within your meeting intelligence summaries. These are in addition to the meeting summary and next steps that we auto-generate for you. So we are always going to give you an auto-generated comprehensive meeting summary and a next step output. Those are hard-coded in, you're always going to get that. But you have the opportunity to build custom prompts in here that are specific to your organization. So we, over the past 8 weeks, have been testing different prompts, and we've been working with customers to configure those. So here's an actual AI prompt example from our shop. So like opening up the hood a little bit here and showing you what we're doing with AI. One of the examples you just saw that we're testing is actually a follow-up email example. So we are trying to configure our custom prompt right now to generate the meeting summary, the next steps, and then auto-generate a formatted follow-up email for the rep so they can copy paste that and quickly drop it to their prospect after a meeting. Now, this is the first time a lot of us candidly are working with generative AI, and there is a little bit of a learning curve, right? So we very much encourage our customers to test. Start with a prompt, see how it runs for a couple of days, get feedback from your team, and then tweak it. We are constantly updating and refining these prompts. Great prompts, we have learned, have a really well-defined output. You've got to be clear and directive with AI. Here's what I want. You want to add lots of context. So you see that before we actually even get to the prompt part of this, we add a lot of context about what Rattle is, because we're technically giving the AI a point of view or perspective, right? We're saying you are writing it on behalf of Rattle. Here's who we are. We're telling the AI, write it as if you're an expert in the field of sales. So we're giving the AI essentially a perspective and a voice there so that we make sure we're getting a follow-up email that really sounds as if it's written by somebody over here. And then finally, make sure you add some requirements. So you can add word limits, formatting, bullet points, fonts, whatever, right? You can start to add requirements in there to make sure that you're constraining this in a reasonable way. So you can see that our email is 150 word limit is what we're testing right now to try to constrain that in. So some of the ideas we've been testing over here, follow-up emails, there's the real prompt, coaching and feedback for our reps based on our methodology, sentiment analysis of the call. So giving the AI perspective of like, hey, if you're a sales expert, do you feel like this call went well, right? Or did we satisfy these following points during the call? Or methodology adherence, we're a MegPick shop, right? So how quick did we follow, or how closely did we follow up, right, with all of our defined parameters? So lots of really creative things that our customers are doing with generative AI prompts right now. Test. We love working with our customers to refine these and getting feedback as we go through it. All right, so a couple of really cool updates on meeting intelligence there. I feel like I saw a hand flash up, but then it went down. Stephen, do you have a question and want to drop that in the chat? Hands back up. Hand back down. All right, Stephen, I will monitor the chat. If you have an MI question, let me know. We can always circle back. All right. So we talked through meeting intelligence enhancements. Let's talk about Canvas. I am super excited. We sneak peeked Canvas last month and gave you a little bit of a visual of what it looks like to bring your sales process to life with Canvas. Since we last talked, we have been in beta and design with about a dozen different Rattle customers here, getting feedback on Canvas, building out canvases for them. I am super excited to actually be bringing this to customers in about 2 weeks later this month, so we can share our first live demo of what that looks like. Before I click into demo, Sahil, I know you've been talking with a lot of customers who are in our beta. Is there any context or any excitement you want to share from there?
Yeah, I feel like Canvas is the biggest feature that we have launched in the last 12 months. The feedback that we have gotten from a dozen customers that we have in beta is that this is game changing for their sales process. So today, Rattle as this happens in Salesforce, send this alert in Slack, and most of you have 50, 100, 150 workflows built out in our platform. But it's very hard to keep a track of what needs to happen at what stage and what has happened and what has not. So Canvas is, as you can see in front of you, is a whiteboard tool where you can build your entire process, but every single one of those blocks is connected in real time to Salesforce. So you can gather data on what's working, what's not, and it's connected to Rattle, so we can make each piece actionable. The feedback that we have been hearing from customers is, this is the first place that they would now want to build a sales process in, because rather than building a static sales process that nobody looks at and gets reviewed once every 3 months, this becomes a living and breathing documentation of a sales process. B, it's helping customers see gaps in their process, things that just got overlooked because, again, it was in a static document and not in a visual format. But C, they are seeing so many blockers in their own process because now every single piece is connected to live data from Salesforce. So again, the feedback that we have gotten from 12 customers is nothing short of phenomenal. Canvas is our biggest release in the last 12 months. And I think we are very excited to get this into everyone's hands in beta in 2 weeks, where you can start using it yourself. But I know that Brooke will walk you around Canvas today, so you can see what it looks like in practice.
Absolutely. Great context. Thanks, Sahil. So as Sahil mentioned, I'm used, right, when we're working with customers, we're starting from this workflows view, right? We have folders and folders of workflows or lists. I'm in our real instance here, seeing under the hood. We have a lot of workflows that are running to optimize our end-to-end lead to customer renewal process. Now, what's going to be possible with Canvas, and I'm actually showing you our Rattle GTM Canvas, again, under the hood here, is the ability to actually build the structure around our sales process, visualize the workflows within it, find opportunities for gaps, and frankly, understand, are we dropping the ball anywhere here? So I'm showing you one that we've spent a lot of time building out on our side. And frankly, it was really illuminating for us to even figure out, like, oh, we have some opportunities, right, to improve our own Rattle usage, which we should always be doing. But this is our real pipe generation workflow, and you can pipe generation process. And you can see we're kind of moving from lead created and our SLAs all through our escalation processes and our reporting or adherence. So how do we make sure we're meeting our SLAs? And you can see that each of these color blocks represent a different place that our leads are going to come from. So up top in green, you see our marketing or content sources. So if I drill in here, you can see we have 4 ways, right now that we have content source downloads from our website, right, where people can at any point download those and become an MQL in our system. We've also got our inbound high priority, right? So those are more of our passive downloads of material. Inbound high priority might be demo contacts, pricing requests, etc. So you can see all of these different workflows trigger different alerts and notifications to our SDR team, right? They need to route a lead. We need to add it to SalesLoft. We need to get it into a cadence. We need to do something and make sure it gets to the right messaging. After we hand off from the workflows, you can see that we have SLA warnings. So if our SLAs around inbound aren't met, how do we make sure that we remind the rep they need to take an action? And then where do we escalate potentially to a manager of that team? So you can see for the first time, instead of just a list of here are all the ways we interact with leads, we're actually mapping out our sales process of how a customer is going to come request information from us, how we're going to make sure we adhere to our SLA, and how we're going to notify leaders when we don't meet the SLA. So we're managing exceptions. We also expect MQLs to age out at a certain point. So when we think about reporting and adherence to our MQL status, we can actually see here that 44 records, this is that bi-directional Salesforce sync that Sahil was talking about. 44 records are out of compliance. these MQLs are aging. We are leaving money on the table. This is a big deal when we're thinking about, are we doing the right things? And you'll be able to actually click on those records and see which records are out of compliance. We can sort those by owner. We can search. We can see, okay, hey, Tyler, my friend, we got 24 MQLs. What's going on? So we're thinking about ways to make it easier for you to action these, view them in Salesforce, and essentially get them back into compliance. So you can start to really visualize bottlenecks in your sales process in a way you haven't been able to before. Now, what's really cool is that this is as easy to build as a Miro, right? We're talking about like dragging on text boxes, building workflows, mapping shapes. We've all done this. We've done this in Zoom whiteboards. We've done it in Miro. It's meant to be intuitive for you to build. But what's super cool is you as a customer, you're not going to start from a blank board. You're going to have the ability to import your existing workflows directly onto a canvas, even in bulk if you wanted to bring them all in right at one time. But you can bring these workflows onto the canvas board and start to organize them in a way and make sense of, okay, what is the actual sales process methodology we want to adhere to? Do we have the right alerting and mechanisms in place? And do we have the right visibility for our leaders? So what we've really seen throughout this beta process is that customers are starting to identify opportunities where they actually need to create a brand new workflow from a canvas. So, oh, we actually don't have a way to alert managers, right, when our MQLs are out of compliance. So let's go ahead and create an alert for managers once a week where they're getting all of the MQLs that are aging. And they can action those with their reps. So that's an opportunity here to continue to understand where you can drive more insights into your sales process. So we're super excited to start having customers really expand their usage of this in the coming weeks. And the customer success team will be here to help walk you through your Canvas journey. Sahil, anything to add on Canvas?
We're super excited again to get it into hands of everyone. I think one of the common reactions that we've also gotten is nobody has seen anything like this. We have all seen Miro boards. We use Miro internally. They are a valued customer, but we have all used those boards, but they are static. But seeing this actually come to life is where it's the bidirectional sync with Salesforce and with Rattle is where this becomes really impactful. And you can build any block and you can get that actionability in Slack that you use Rattle for today. So yes, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to anyone in our CSM team and they will make sure that you are part of the group that this rolls out to in 2 weeks. But excited to see what everyone builds.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So talked a little bit about Canvas and a live demo. Finally, that will be out in about 2 weeks for customers. And towards the end of the month, I'm really excited to be sharing Digest with customers as well. So we did a sneak peek last month. This slide might look familiar, but we're actually going to be bringing together all of your alerts into a single board like Digest, right? It's a single pane of glass for your reps, for your leaders to understand what are all of the different actions they need to take based on all of the workflows that are impacting their book of business. So I might be a sales rep named Michael, and we're going to configure him a weekly digest where he will see all of his opportunities, right? The associated workflows with their opportunities and all of the potential fields or updates that he needs to make. So he has 17 updates that he needs to make across 12 different workflows. Now, right now, workflows are independent. So those 17 updates are coming through potentially 17 different notifications at different points in time. And that still really makes sense to do notifications for things that have really tight SLAs, like all those inbound workflows we just talked about. But for a lot of weekly updates for account executives, for customer success managers, right, we might want to schedule those at a point in which Michael can sit down and really do some updates all in one view. So instead of getting a lot of notifications, he's getting one seamless view and a dashboard that he can bidirectionally do those updates right in here. So everything will sync to Salesforce. This is a great way for you to make sure that everything's updated before you go into that forecast call every Monday morning, or before you set up your QBR at the end of the month, making sure everybody actually has their updates in. So I'm really looking forward to working with customers to bring together Canvas and Digest, right? So thinking about, okay, how do we map the entire sales process in Canvas? How do we make sure you have all of the right workflows built? And then how do we create a single actionable screen for your reps so that they can really make sure they're filling out the right things and we're not out of compliance on a bunch of our SLAs. So we expect this by end of August, starting to release in beta to customers. And I'm really excited to see these go out. They will be configurable by administrators. So you as an admin or a RevOps administrator, you'll be able to configure the digest for your team and have it sent out to them. So it should be really easy to bring your users onto digest. They won't have to all go configure their own. So looking forward to making that really simple and seamless. All right. Well, we just made it 3 minutes under the wire. Those are our big updates for July and August for our combined product webinar. We'll be back in a couple of weeks, probably at the end of August for our next showcase. We'll be able to see Digest live in the app, show you how to configure that so that you can get your hands on it. And we'll have some more leaderboard updates going into September that we'll be able to share with you. So super excited to see you all in a couple of weeks on that webinar. If you have any questions in the meantime, we'll hang out for a couple of minutes here and answer questions in chat. But please always feel free to reach out to your customer success team here at Rattle, and we can help onboard you to some of these new features. Sahil, anything to add?
I think we have another large release that we'll talk about at the end of August. So as everyone would have seen, we have pushed out a lot of big things in the last 3 months, and it's not ending with just Canvas and Digest. There is a third surprise that we'll talk about at the end of August when we do this again. But I think Canvas and Digest together will solve a lot of things. Will solve sales process, will solve gaps in the sales process, which process should not even have been there in the first place, making it easier for reps to fix those things and making it easier for ops people to get compliance without sending 100 notifications a month. Now you can send one single alert, combine all your workflows, and they can fix all of them from one screen. And we know that the world hasn't seen Canvas and Digest before. This is an entirely new concept, and it is intuitive from day one. So yeah, the entire engineering team is super excited to have built this, and we all can't wait to get this in front of all of our customers.
Fantastic. Well, with that, we're at time. Thanks everybody for joining us today. If you need to follow up with anybody on customer success, you can always hit up Brooke at gorattle.com. Otherwise, we'll be back in a couple of weeks with those exciting updates. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Sahil.
Thanks, Brooke.